You choose radio.
Blessings follow you. Blessings follow me. As I did pray for you, make you pray for me. You go do yours. You go do for daddy. You go do for mommy. Everybody happy. As you start yours.
Yes. It's the Positive Forces Show, always giving you more, sending you positive vibes to change your life. I'm your host, Kimone Hall, and with me today, oh my gosh, my other co-host. Come on, introduce yourself. Talk to the people. Talk to the family.
Hello, family.
Apostle Dr.
Dr.
Vaden Grant
Vaden
is
Grant.
in the building.
Yes,
How are you, sir?
I'm feeling very summery and July 4th-ish.
Is that what this garb is all about?
Yeah. I'm feeling the vibes. It's time to rest and relax.
Rest and
Been
relax.
yeah,
Okay.
it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week, but I'm trying to get into the motion of resting and relaxing. After this show, I'm gonna go jump in the pool and take a
That was
swim.
cool. I love
Isn't
that.
that good?
Yeah. I like that.
How have you been,
Woo-wee. I'm
Lady
good.
Kimone? How have you been?
Not bad. One day at a time. I'm doing well. You're in and out. Um, just want to say to everyone, I hope you guys all are doing well as well. And if you're not, give us a call and we'll talk it out. We'll chop it up. Today we have an interesting topic. We're going to talk about, does unconditional love exist in marriages, friendship, and romantic relationships? We
Oh
always
my
hear
God,
that.
that's
We
a
know we
tough topic.
definitely,
You should have sent
we
me some notes
definitely
on that before.
we definitely
What
know
a
what we've seen on
provocative topic.
TV.
Uh-huh.
We know what we've seen on TV, right? We know what we've heard. So where are you getting your wisdom from? Where are you getting your knowledge from? Apostle, can you go ahead and pray, please? Thank you.
Yeah, we need to pray. Father, we need you today. What a topic. We need your intervention. We need your wisdom. We need to say the right thing. So let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O God, your strength and our Redeemer. Let those who come behind us find us faithful in what we do, what we say, in Jesus' name. Amen and amen.
Amen and amen. Always want to thank our sponsors, because without them, I mean, that's how we add our families, right? Viscosity Blend Radio. We want to say welcome, family. You choose radio, youchooseradio.com. We want to say welcome as well. Zion Highness Radio, welcome, and welcome. We totally will never forget Reggae Global Radio as well. So, Jersey family, Florida family, Atlanta family. Where else are we? Virginia. Big up yourselves, and just hope that you all will enjoy the program. And if you have any comments, if you have
Jamaica,
any
Africa, Trinidad and Tobago.
Jamaica, well, those are the stations. Those are the stations. That's where the stations are. But of course,
Let's
with
take it global.
YouTube.
Let's take it global.
Let's take it global with YouTube and Facebook. And yes, we definitely have listeners all around. So we want to welcome you all. If you have a question, I'm going to put the number up that you can give us a call. And or if you have a statement, something that you want to add and share with us, please, by all means, give us a call at 404-916-5138. Again, 404-916-5138. All right. So we're gonna dive in and we're gonna talk. Like, we like I said before, we hear about unconditional love, and we know that unconditional love simply means unconditional. There's no condition, right? There's no stipulation. That's what the word unconditional would mean. But God Himself gives us conditions when even with our love. He loves us unconditionally, but He expects us to do certain things within parameters. That's why we have the laws, we have our commandments, right? So I was talking with someone and they said that they would like to have unconditional love in their relationship. And I said, that's a nice word. That sounds good, but is that possible in 2023? Is that possible, and what does that really look like? So, Apostle, what do you say? What do you have to say?
Minister Kimon, I think you bring me in for the hard topics, but I don't mind. I'll
It's
address
hard
it.
for both of us. It's hard for both
I'll
of us.
I'll address it from a biblical perspective.
Yeah, as much as
First,
possible.
First Corinthians chapter 13 gives us a biblical portrayal of love. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity or the love of God, I have become sounding brass or a clinging cymbal. And though I have the gifts of prophecy and understand all mysteries and knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I can remove mountains but have not love, I'm nothing. I think one of the things is that we start off unconditional love means there's no condition to the love. Somebody just loves you irrespective to who you are, or what you portray. Whether you give them back love or not, they love you like that. To ask for unconditional love, to be honest with you, is to ask for a God type of love. And that God type of love is not particularly given to human beings.
Yeah.
We say we love unconditionally, but the truth is we don't.
No.
There's always a condition.
Yeah.
Because when we look at the outward appearance, man look at the outward appearance, God looks at the heart.
Right.
We favor people by what our imaginations are and what our thought patterns are and what we think is good or bad, or right or wrong, evil or good. So
Good.
the reality is, from the time you are dealing with a flawed person, from
Mm.
the time you're dealing with a person who has faults, who thinks faulty, who is not perfect in their judgment, even their requests for unconditional love, even their thoughts about unconditional love will be flawed,
Yeah.
would be a request that is not perfect, that has conditions to it. So
Exactly.
the reality is, so it is not a human possibility to have unconditional love. Why? Here's what unconditional love really says: I love everyone the same. There's um, no requirement in me to loving anyone. And could
Mm.
I tell you something? The Bible says, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. God has the ability to love people, and he has the ability not to love them, even if he's
Yeah.
God. He
Exactly.
makes choices.
Exactly.
And there's reasons to even God loving you. He
Yes.
loves you, even if people say that there's no reason. Let me just throw this in and I'll quit. The storge love of God is what covers unconditional love. What does that mean? I love you because you are my creation. I love you because you're my son and my daughter. But
Right.
even in that love, there are requirements. And that love, the requirements, if met, gives you benefits to the love. And if not met, it gives you punishment.
Mm. Mm.
But when we talk about unconditional love, we says whatever the person does, it's fine. I just love them. Is it true?
Mm. No.
Yeah.
That's we don't. We're gonna have to leave that one up to God. I think that we that I don't think that's I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's possible. I think a mother and a father, can love their children unconditionally. I think that. I think that regardless if the child sways and no longer does what they're supposed to do, and they get locked up, and they become promiscuous and have kids out of wedlock or whatever, a mom and a father will still love their child
But
unconditionally.
is it unconditional?
It's still
Is
conditioned within the condition it's still conditioned. That's why I have a little issue with the word unconditional love when it comes to us and humanity, because we always have conditions to everything. So to me it's
would we treat
something
that
more.
child the same way, the one that is not performing, the one that is locked up, the one that has turned to the streets of crime and so on? Would we treat that child the same way as the one who is going to school, getting their doctorate, getting their engineering degree, teaching a simulating life, the one who is the lawyer? Would we really treat that person the same way? Who would we present to the world fastest? Who would we talk about the
Right,
most?
right. The one that's doing much better, of course, and
So
the
is
one
it
that's not.
really unconditional love? Or is it just a terminology we use not really investigating its possibilities or what it means.
Yeah, I really do think it's a terminology that's used. It sounds good, but I don't see the practicality with it. Conditional love. Conditional love is selfish. Unconditional love is selfless. Conditional love seeks control. Unconditional love seeks freedom. Conditional love seeks or has expectation. Unconditional, no expectation. Conditional love, there's jealous. Unconditional love, you're all secure. Conditional love keeps scores. Unconditional love works as a team. All right. Conditional love minimizes the partner's needs, and unconditional love supports the partner's needs. That's what
Let, let,
that's
let, let, let's
what
let's
English is saying.
let's t-
So let's look
let's
into
take the
that.
last let's take the last one.
Yes,
Conditional love what? Minimize what?
minimize partner's needs,
Hmm.
and unconditional love supports the partner's needs.
So let me ask you, if I am in love with you, with my partner, with my wife, with my spouse, with my girlfriend, and I expect her to love me back, I expect reciprocation. How is that unconditional? If anyone loves, say that they love you and they're not selfish over you, they're not jealous over you, something is wrong. They
Something.
don't. Let's go to
Exactly.
relationships, and probably I'm not the best person to bring on the program to talk about these things, but there's a reality to living. We
Yeah,
expect reciprocation when we love somebody. Let's do relationship.
of
You
course.
as a parent expect your child, after you've spent thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars on them, to take them through school, to bring them up to be 21, 22, 25, that they choose a spouse or they choose a life track that will give them great success. You don't expect that
Right.
child to now waste all that investment running the streets,
Mm-mm.
prostituting themselves,
Mm-hmm.
taking drugs, whatever the case is, just running, as if life has no meaning.
Wow.
There's going to be a
Yes.
problem with that. So we cannot
Yes.
say
Absolutely.
expectation is because of control. No, I expect you because I believe that there's something in you that is greater than what you're portraying. So I expect something good out of you, else I'm not wasting my time or my investment. So it's not that I don't love
Mm.
you, it's not that it's conditional love or unconditional love. I love you, but my love has expectation. For God so
Mm-hmm.
loved the world, look at it, that he gave
That
his
he
only
gave.
begotten Son. Look at the expectation,
Yes.
that whosoever
Mm-hmm.
believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. I'm giving you a way out. I'm giving you something
Yeah.
to sustain your life. But you have to now accept it, the gift, believe in the gift, and now you can have
Mm-hmm.
life through the gift.
Mm-hmm.
And if God has expectations of us, it is
Come
not
on.
bad that we have expectations of each other. If
No.
you are
Okay.
expecting, if you are thinking that unconditional love means no expectation of you, I take you the way you are. You want to shower, you don't want to shower, it's fine. You want to give me, you don't want to give me, it's fine. You want to pick me up after work or don't pick me up, it's fine. You want to feed the kids or don't feed the kids, it's fine. You want to pay the mortgage or don't pay the mortgage, it's fine. Come on.
No. No. It's not rational,
Let,
right?
it
It's
makes
not.
absolutely no sense. There's
Yeah.
nobody in a committed relationship that does not have expectation.
Right.
So there's nobody that is loving anyone, truly loving them, and not
Unconditional.
having expectation of them. So
Mm-hmm.
the concept of unconditional love may be just a mythical or fairy tale, if I might use the term.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you because you know, yeah. So we see. No, I just I can't. Like you said, don't shower, don't do all these things. You have to be able to maintain a level of responsibility and a level of
And
cleanliness and
respect.
a level of respect, right, for yourself and the other person. And I think that people put upon even Christians or believers that there's supposed to be perfection within us because we are Christians and we have the love of God, and the love of God is pure, and the love of God is true, and it God's love, but God's love to us, towards us, is different from the love that we're going to exude. And because of, even though we're mandated to love agape love, right? We're mandated to love everyone, but the Bible also gives you ways out too. Like if you're with your spouse and your spouse cheats on you, all right, or your spouse decides that they're going to go out of the marriage and they're going to have a relationship with someone else, do you now still think that you can love that person irrespective of whatever they do whenever they do it, without you feeling the things that we talked about, the jealousy and feeling like I'm not being respected? It's natural for us to have that feeling, and I think that's where I don't think those two come together at all, where people could say, well, for better or for worse, to death do us part, and regardless of what you do, then you know we just have to work it out. I think that wisdom has to play a part into it. No woman or no pastor, preacher, I'm sure, apostle, you would not tell a woman, and correct me if I'm wrong, or a man to stay in a relationship where they're being abused, physically abused. You know, if you
Should I correct you now or when?
please correct me now. If a woman is getting beaten or a man is getting beaten, and some men would say if the man is getting beaten and allowing it, maybe he should get beaten on a funny side. But you know, if a woman is getting abused physically, getting hit, beat up, and still expected to come to church and go together, and would that be right?
Let's look at the scriptures. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself. It is not puffed up, does not behave itself rudely, does not seek its own. It is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all
Okay.
things, endures all things. But it says love um, suffers long and is kind. Even to
Yeah.
suffering, there's an end. Even to long suffering, there's an end. And we have different limits to what we can do or what we would allow in our lives. And the truth is, you can love someone, but if again, if they're not reciprocating that love, your unconditional love becomes conditional. What is the condition? I choose to survive this relationship. So I'm leaving, not because I don't love you, but I also love me because I can't give what I don't have.
That's good.
So if I
Hmm.
don't have love for myself, then I can't give you love. And if I let
Right.
you destroy me, it means I don't love me.
I don't love me.
And if I
That's.
don't love me, it means I can't love you.
Hmm.
So my survival means that there's love for me and you.
Hmm.
Because maybe if I stay, one day I'll snap and
Right.
there'll be no you, just me.
Hmm. Right.
Preach, Bishop, you're talking right. So
That's true.
you've got to love suffers long and is kind, but it's not easily provoked. It does not behave itself unseemly. Who is the unconditional person here? The abuser or the one who's being abused? Who should love
Mm.
unconditionally? If it is the abuser and the abusee should be loving unconditionally if they are in a relationship. So if
Right.
one is not loving unconditionally, as we say, quote unquote, then it demolishes that whole concept of unconditional love within that relationship because
Mm.
nobody is going to love you if you're abusing them. They may have
Right.
feelings for you, but is
Hmm.
it love?
Hmm. Hmm.
They may
Still have
even
may
want
have.
to be with you, but is it love?
Right. Right.
Some people get
Uh,
accustomed to a situation, they get accustomed to a relationship, they get accustomed to a man, they get accustomed to a woman, but it's not that they love them. They may even
mm,
stay in the abuse, but it's not because they love them. Because
no.
love does some things.
Right. That is
Love,
positive.
yes, love creates
That is-
an
yeah.
environment of peace, an environment it hopes all things, believes all things. So it creates an environment of progression. It creates an environment of comfortability. It creates an environment where you are safe.
Hmm.
So if that is not happening, then you really can't say that the person loves you. And you could be
Right.
married. And I want to probably tell somebody who's married today, and you could be married for a long time. But if you
Hmm.
trace through your marriage, You can realize where the person really doesn't love you. Even some people tolerate another person and they say it's unconditional love. No, it's tolerance.
Tolerance. That's true.
Because when it is love, it has expectation, it has a portfolio, it will deliver upon demand, and so on. It seeks it not its own, it wanted not itself, but it's not easily provoked. But what? It bears all things, believes all things, it hopes all things, endures all. Love never fails.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's love there, it is going to have some parameters that you can work with and work with. Listen, I shared with someone, I'm not calling any names. Cheating can happen in two ways. And let me say this, I don't know if I'm allowed, it's a PG station, but cheating can happen in two ways. Someone could cheat on someone not because they don't love them, but because they have an appetite for the next person. And we don't want to come to terms with those things, but those things are true. And you say, well, you cheated on me. That is a truth given the concept of cheating. But the person really wasn't thinking about harming you. Then there's another cheating that occurs when you are upset with the person, when you are not fulfilled by the person, and you go out to find the person that will fulfill you or that will give you some gratification because the other person has done something to you that you think it's an injustice, or they cheated on you, so I'm going to cheat on them. You are really having relation or sexual relations with this other person to vent a feeling you had for the first person. Am I making sense? So
Clear.
there's a cheating that occurs because you and another person have gotten close, God forbid, but it's the truth. You have an emotional involvement, and you naturally go to that level with that person. But it's not because again you are thinking ill of the person you're with. But then there's a cheating where you're getting back at that person you're with. That is and I don't want to say the more dangerous one, but actually that is the more dangerous one. The first one probably you can recover from, but the second one, you have to
Mm,
think about it a little harder. And
mm,
probably your audience, probably people have not thought about it like that, but that is a truth. Not
yeah.
every time somebody goes out and they've cheated, uh, it validates the termination of your relationship.
True. But patterns can
Maybe,
form easily, though, and
huh?
patterns can form easily. And typically, some most of the times, if you do it once, it's possible that it can reoccur again. Or you start to see an issue in your relationship or whatever was that cause.
Dr. Kimone,
So,
yes, patterns can form. Sometimes we have to go to the reason for the
but
cheating.
that's what I was gonna say, but you stopped me.
No, no, I didn't stop you. Please continue. I just wanted to emphasize the point.
There's always a reason. So I think that that's where communication comes in, where the two parties are speaking openly and telling each other seriously and with a fact, without a doubt, exactly what they're feeling, exactly why they're feeling that. Try to figure out why they're feeling that. Talk about the deficits that they may have within their marriage. What are they happy with? What are they not happy with? And comes to terms with that. And sometimes, I was telling someone today that you can be in a relationship and you might feel like, hey, you know what, I might want to step out. So if you can identify that you might want to step out, would it be wise to actually tell your partner, say, "Hey, this is where I'm feeling." So obviously, if I'm feeling this way, there's an issue going on, because a lot of times, people say you don't tell your partner everything, but sometimes if you can vocalize it, I think if you can vocalize it before it even happens, there's a possibility that you can save that event from occurring.
How about if you vocalize it? There must be a safe place. Because again, if you are open enough to tell your partner that you want to, that you feel like um, quote unquote cheating or stepping out of the marriage, how does that register in the partner's psyche? How does that register in the partner's mind? One, I'm not good enough. Two, he's looking at somebody else. Three, how long has he been looking at this person? All the negatives show up first.
Oh, yeah.
Is he unhappy with me? Is he unhappy with the marriage? Now, if I say to the partner, and I'm just using myself as an example, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that I saw this person and oh my God, I was heavily attracted to them. We work together, we've become close. All of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden now there's more negatives coming up.
Right.
Not understanding that if this person is opening up to share this with you, is
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want to do it. They've
Right.
thought about it, but they don't want to do it.
Right.
Because the person who doesn't share it with you will do it eventually,
Yeah.
will risk it to do it, and so
Mm-hmm.
on and so forth. But we have to create safe spaces
Mm-hmm.
when we are going to be honest at that level. Because to be honest with you, sometimes we say we want to know, but really don't want to know.
Don't want to
I,
know.
I, I don't want to know that my wife want to step out on me. I really don't want to
Right.
know. If she wants to, I would prefer her to come and share it with me, but I
Mm-hmm.
really don't want to know that she wants to. I
Right.
would prefer to know what we can do to heal the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
or to heal, or to deal with the causes, than to know you want to step out. Because if you get to the stage where you want to step out, it's because there's something lacking.
An issue. Yeah, there's something lacking. But I think that these are, we see divorce even in the church. Divorce is rampant. It's even probably higher right now than outside of the world. A lot of people outside of church are probably not even getting married because what's the use, right? What's the no real reason. But divorce is
Just now, back up a minute. You just
no
said no
real
real reason for
no
getting
real
married.
reason. I think that when you
Ladies and gentlemen, please erase that with vehemence. Go ahead, Minister Kimon.
you know why I say
Uh,
that. I say that because I say that because typically, in the church, you are abstinent, or you are wait, you're making sure that you wait for your partner, as opposed to when you're not in church or not in the world. Not everybody, but for the most part, there's no wait, right? Or is if I feel like having a sexual relationship with someone, that's what it is, and it occurs. And some people stay in it long enough, and they say yes, they will get married. So let me rephrase that. But in churches, if you try to with it from the perspective of what is taught biblically, then it's a little bit different. So people go into marriages without the wisdom, without knowing the partner, and without knowing their ideologies or their thoughts about what marriage is, what their expectations are. How is it that they can please their partner? How do they like to communicate? What do they like, or what they don't like? Those little things, which is kind of big. And then eventually the bigger things, right? Because we look at those things as small, not a big deal, but they are, because a lot of times issues arise because of the small things, and they mount up into larger things, right? And I think that is very important that people are getting the information from a source that is reliable. People are going to counseling, talking things through, and taking the time to get to know each other. Somebody I know always talk about starting with love.
Yes, yes. I'm a firm believer. I want all of your listeners to know Bishop Grant is a firm believer of falling in love and being in love. I believe God is love. I love to see couples in love. Don't come and tell me you're getting married and I can't see a smile on your face when you look at that person. I want to see a twinkle in your eyes. I want to see the love there. Too many
Right,
people have gotten married based on the person's economics, based on how they look, based on how they speak, based on their connections in life, their social strata. And
right,
that doesn't work. You don't go to bed with a social strata. You
no,
don't go to bed with somebody's bank account. You may be wishing
right.
for it. You may be driving the Bentley, and you could be driving the Bentley and still not be happy
Still
and
not
still
me.
longing for somebody else. I'm
Mm,
driving the Bentley, you're sitting next to me, but I'm thinking about Janet Jackson. I'm thinking about whoever is out there, whoever we judge to be, whoever it is. I just use that name. But I'm thinking about somebody else, Sister Pearl, Prophetess Little, somebody. The reality is, but if I love you and we are in a pinto together, if we are driving a box cart, um, you know. it doesn't matter. There's effervescence, there's joy, there's peace. And as you grow older, Dr. Kimone, you're not as old as I am, but as you grow older, there's a sentimentality about being in love and being together, you know, taking a walk, taking a vacation, swimming on the beach, laying, talking, under the Eiffel Tower, having a, breakfast, in Europe and stuff. There's something about those things that
Mm.
generates a satisfaction
Yeah.
that a human being needs. All the bills that you pay and the cars you own and the house that I own, to be honest with you, there's a lot of lonely people
Yeah.
sitting in these big houses and driving these big cars.
Yes.
Whereas if they understood, like Dr. Grant, if you can start with the effervescent feelings of love, mwah, it would blow your mind as you.
Yeah, I think we got cut off here. Yeah, you're back. You're back. I can see you. Can't hear you, but I can see you.
Or you can hear me now?
Yes, much better. The effervescent
Oh,
feeling of love.
yes.
Mm. Yeah, that all that sounds good. So
But you don't believe that, do you?
I
You
do.
much you much more believe in the economics and the compatibility because we are both at a certain social level and so on and so forth. You
I believe.
realize how often wealthy people get married. That is why the woman at the well, most people think she was a prostitute in nature. She was not. She was a very influential woman in her community. Poor people don't get married that often. You've had four husbands, five husbands, and the one you have now is not yours. Not
You're
five
all
boyfriends.
right.
You check the psychology of wealthy people and see how often they get married versus poor people.
Mm,
I'll leave it there. Go ahead, Dr. Kimon.
mm. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. But I do though. I do. I do believe in both. I believe in both, and I think that there should be a nice balance. I think there should be a nice balance.
Yeah, I
I
said
know.
start with
Start
the
with love.
effervescent feelings of scintillating, soothing songs of love. And
Yeah, but
then, yeah,
said
balance it.
you said I don't believe in that. The breakfast in Paris and going to England are more of the economics and making sure we're both. I believe
Yeah.
definitely in both. They both have their place. And like you said, age doesn't mean wisdom. And we see so many adults that are in marriages and they're just in it because they don't want the event of getting a divorce. What and it's not because of the concept of unconditional love. It's just that, like we talked about with tolerance. You know, I don't really love her. She don't really love me, but we live together. We pay the bills. It becomes like a business contract. It becomes like uh, when you're in college and you have a roommate or a housemate. That's how it becomes. And unfortunately, a lot of that is taking place as well. But unconditional love, you know, it's tricky, and I still don't believe that that really exists for us. I posted on the social media platform, and the answers were literally a resounding no by one. Um, he said no. I'll just paraphrase and say no. And somebody else says only in
I,
a
I'm
cult.
I'm gonna I'm gonna ask you to comment without me for 1 minute. Is that possible?
No.
Small, yes, it's possible. A small
Okay.
emergency. I'm gonna be listening to you. Just 1 minute, please. Thank you.
somebody else somebody else commented. They said only in a cultish situation every relationship should have conditions. So again, and the question that was posed online was, does unconditional love exist in marriage, friendship, and romantic relationships? That's what we're talking about today. And she said only in the cultish situations. So I guess the cultish situation would be possibly in a religious setting, and every relationship should have conditions. Everything should have conditions. I totally agree with that. And no one should be in something or accept something that they're not comfortable with, you know. And sometimes we think that our ideologies, the things that we think are the best ways or it's the right way, but where is it that you're getting your information from? What patterns have you seen? Was there an elder or your parents? Where are you getting these examples from? Or are you getting the examples from rappers or from movies and television shows, right? So we have to make sure that where we're getting these or ideologies from, it makes sense, it's realistic, and it's something that we can live with. Because if I know when I was growing up and seeing things on television and relationships on TV, it was every young girl's dream to be married and live in I'm from the islands, and live in America, in the US, with a big house and a white picket fence, because that was what was portrayed mostly on TV. And then, so do you have the example at home, in your home, for you to say, okay, I've watched my mom and dad, or I've watched my aunt and my uncle, or I've watched my neighbors and loved ones, friends, have I been able to see what that looks like? And then what a good relationship looks like. But if you've not seen a good relationship, you can also look at that and say, okay, that's an example of what I would not want to do. So even though you're surrounded by the negatives, you can always pull from the negatives and create a different atmosphere for yourself, and say, okay, I never want to see my my child get abused. So I will always love my child. I don't want ever want my child to go hungry, go to bed without eating. So I'm going to work as hard as I can and do what I can do to make sure that that doesn't happen. So we can learn from the experiences of other people and fix that. A lot of people, look at their experiences or their regrets and think that their regrets is wisdom, because they've gone through it. So now they have the wisdom. No, 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 no. Your regrets can
It's
help
just
to
your
shape you,
regret.
but
It's
it's
just
just a
your regret.
regret. It's not your wisdom. No, 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 no.
Can I interject there just a little bit? Um, the paradoxity of life is that we all have individual experiences when it comes to love, because we're all made up differently. Our desires are different, the way we think are different, what we expect in life are different. And so one person would say, oh, this man don't love you. And you would meet an older lady, and she'd say, well, why are you saying that they don't love you? Why are you saying that they don't love you? And, well, he don't take me out. I remember pastor's wife was commenting on her daughter, and she lived in Europe. um, she's black, he's white, and he's a doctor. He said his wife, I'm coming home, I'm going to take you to dinner, and so on and so forth. So she was expecting him to come home and take her to dinner. However, the problem was, again, he had to work overtime on his shift. He had an
Mm,
emergency at the hospital and so on. So she called her mother complaining, oh, he came home now and he just fell asleep. And we were supposed to go to dinner, and he worked late. And the mother quickly said to her, listen, where's your husband? He's in the bed, he's sleeping, he didn't even change his clothes. Da, 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 da. She said, oh, he didn't? She said, are your bills paid? Is the mortgage up to date? The lights are on? There's food in your house? She said, all right, now go lay down next to your husband, put your hands around him, and you rub his head
mhm.
so that he can sleep some more.
Right.
So
Perspective.
yeah, the reality was, it's not that he did not want to come home and take her to dinner. He had to do overtime. He's a doctor. He had an emergency on his job. So
Mhm.
her perspective of love was, oh, you got to get home on time. You got to take me to dinner. Not knowing that the very job that he does, the choice he made to be a physician, to give her a good life,
Mhm.
kept him from doing what she's desiring.
Mhm.
So do you want a man that's home with you all the time, that can roll in the bed and take you to dinner and carry you out, and whatever the case is? Or do you want the man that is working, that is making sure the bills are paid, that making sure the children are taken care of financially? And so he may not be able to take you to dinner all the time. So instead of going 3 times a month, you may go two. But could that be love?
Could that be love? Could
Could
that be?
that be, could your expectation, could you now then need to love him unconditionally?
Mm,
Is it
that's right.
making sense?
That's good. I like it. I love it. All right, let's go with our final thoughts. We're gonna go with our final thoughts soon, but again, we always want to thank our sponsors, J&P Construction. Contact Junior Williams at 678-927-6945. Again, 678-927-6945. J&P Construction for all your construction needs. Give them a call. Professional, hardworking. They are very, 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 very um, uh, polished and professional, and they can definitely make your home look great. For all your landscaping needs, call LMM Landscaping. Ask for Mr. Reggie at 404-246-9582. 404-246-9582. Mr. Reggie with LMM Landscaping, and they will take care of your curb appeal and everything else that you need for your home. Reggae Global Radio, Viscosity Blend Radio, Zion Highness Radio, You Choose Radio. We absolutely love you guys. Go with your final thoughts, Apostle.
All right, let me say this. Unconditional love may be a figment of our imagination. As much as you can, love the person you're with, love the kids you have, love the spouse you have, but still expect reciprocation because you're built for reciprocation. You're built to love and you're built to receive love. If love isn't being, that's the reason why the wedding band is unbroken. Love is not a thing that you just give out and it doesn't come back to you. It is reciprocated, reciprocal. And if it is reciprocal, you have to expect it, you have to give it. There are people who have tried to love unconditionally. And what has happened is that they have loved unconditionally, resulting in an abusive relationship.
Mm,
And they believe, because they believe in unconditional love, whatever this person does to them, they keep loving them. No,
mm,
be wise as a serpent,
mm,
harmless as a dove. Sometimes
mm.
love says, escape to tell the story.
Yeah.
Sometimes love says, if you keep allowing this, the person would not stop. Sometimes love says, again, look at what you're doing and
Mm,
make a decision that will
mm,
better your life. But
mm.
again, I go back to my original thought, even as the last words. I go back to my original premise. Start with the effervescent, sweet flow of the scintillating, soothing sounds of love, and let God do the rest. God is love, and if you're with God, God will help you to make. And on a serious note, God will help you to make conscious choices. You won't have to worry. And let me say this, Dr. Kimon, I know the time is gone. You don't have to worry about choosing a spouse. If you commit your ways to the Lord, what you are going to desire is going to come. And when
Mhm.
it comes, you are going to be able to identify it. The
Right.
people who are wondering about choices are those who are not settled with who they are and what they want.
Mm. That's interesting, and that's good. I like that. Some people say, "Hey, Pastor, pray for me," because I'm not sure. But prayer cancels. Prayer does not cancel ignorance. Prayer does not cancel ignorance. Please ensure that you know what you're getting into. And if you're already into it, make sure that it's fair. Make sure that you are not being destructive. If we need if we need a podiatrist, we're not going to go to an optician, right? Whatever you need, make sure you're going for the right person for the right fit. Do not destroy yourself because of others. Unconditional love is something that we want to strive for in terms of maybe our relationship with God, and try to be like God into that respect. But remember that even God loves us conditionally, unconditionally. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we see you same
Have a
time, same
beautiful
place.
4th of July.
Like, share, enjoy your 4th of July. Take care.